Hey. Hey. I'll bet Luca goers. Luca goers. Luca. I'll bet you that the Luca goers are gonna win. Are gonna. I'll bet you. I'll bet you. I'll bet you. I'll bet you anything. Bet you anything that Luca goers are gonna win this year. Are gonna win this year. Are gonna win. Gonna win this year. Are gonna win this year. I'll bet you anything that Luca goers are gonna win this year. Are gonna win. Maybe so. But you bet you bet, better not count on the business. Better not count out the count out. Better not count out the killing of this. I am not trying. I am not trying today. I am not trying today. I just make a house rule fast. Is Mr. Micah has rules era. Mr. Micah has rules era for the past 50. Mr. Micah doesn't make any public appearances. He's getting too old for that. We apologize for the income. Access stadium had killed off. I can't catch a glimpse of Mr. Micah. If I can catch a glimpse of Mr. I'll have something to brag about home. They catch they catch one glimpse of Micah. They catch if I catch one glimpse of Mr. Micah, I'll have something to brag about home. 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 And this tournament is gonna rock. And this tournament is gonna rock. Even the big man's here to see the game. Even the big man, even the big man's, even the big man's here to see the game.
Can't see a thing. Shh.
I needed to. I had to change the title of the stream. What a shitty title. Like the shittiest of them titles. The shittiest of them titles. I am not even gonna try. Of be man. What the heck are those things? Oh, look at my chest hair.
That's a Guado, right?
Who could it be?
Could it be
Isn't that Maester Seymour?
Seymour? My God, he's hot. Oh, look at me. Why all of the villains in Final Fantasy present themselves as the hottest thing ever? Like from Mean Girls, every Final Fantasy villain is Regina George, basically.
For your generous welcome. Rise, Maester
So
Seymour,
fat.
and all of you as well. I present to you
To
the
you.
son of Maester Giskel Guado,
Oh,
who departed for the far plain a fortnight past.
Mike
As
is
some of
Biden,
you
man.
already know, he has been officially ordained a Maester of Yevon.
Everyone, this is Kamala
I
Harris.
am Seymour Guado.
I am Kamala
I'm honored to
Harris.
receive the title of Maester.
Honored to receive the
In
title.
life, my father Giskel worked to foster friendship between man and Guado.
What?
I vow to carry on his legacy and to fulfill my duties as Maester to the best of my abilities.
I knew every Final Fantasy is
Bow your head.
just US politics. Ah. Look at my eyes, baby.
Really psychs you up, yeah? All right, last meeting before the match. Hustle!
Hustle, hustle, hustle. Yes, yes. pressure. Oh, te weón, tonto.
Where's Waka?
Let the matchup draws. We had to play the Goers in the first match last year.
The year before that, and the one before that, too.
Well, we would have lost to anyone anyway.
Captain Walker.
Captain Waka.
We're playing the Albed Sykes first. If we win, we're in the finals. That's right, we got seeded. 2 wins, and we're the champions. First things first. Let's go over the basics again, boys.
It's the weakest of the tournaments. I have to read all of this. All of this. Blitzball tutorial. Moving. Blitzball tutorial. Blitzball tutorial. Blitzball tutorial. Blitzball tutorial. Moving. Action. Commands. Action commands. Moving. Action commands. Passing. Shooting. Using HP. Encounters. Breakthroughs. Tech copy. That's status ailments. Status ailments. Techniques. Game modes. Into tutorial. Right? Tutorial. In Blitzball there are 5 in Blitzball there are 5 players. In Blitzball there are 5 in Blitzball there are 5 players per team in the sphere pool. In Blitzball in Blitzball there are 5 players per team in the sphere pool. The overhead map shows all players current. The overhead map shows all players. The overhead map shows all players current positions. The overhead map shows all players current positions. All players current positions. In the direction each is facing. Here only one team. Here only one team is shown on the field. Here only one team is shown on the field. The overhead map shows all players' current positions. The overhead map shows all players' current positions. Shows all players' current positions. And the direction each is facing. And the direction each is facing. Here only one team is shown. Only one team is shown on the field. Here only one team is shown on the field. The overhead map shows all players' current position and the direction each is facing. Yo. No. Go. This is Mouth Sounds, the stream. The overhead map shows all players' current positions in the direction each is facing, and the direction each is facing, and the direction each is facing. The overhead map shows all players' current positions in the direction each is facing. Here, only one team is shown on the field. Here, only one team is shown. Only one team is shown on the field. The overhead map. The overhead map shows all shows. The overhead map shows all players' current positions. All players' current positions. All players' current positions and the direction each is facing. The overhead map shows all players' current positions and the direction it is facing. Here, only one team is shown on the field. Titus is carrying the ball now. Titus is carrying the ball now. Titus is carrying the ball now. The ball carrier is displayed as a circle arrow. On the map. The ball carrier is displayed as a circle arrow on the map. Circle arrow on the map. The ball carrier is displayed as a circle arrow on the map. Now let's watch the players move. 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 Now let's watch the players. Now let's watch the players move. Let's watch the players move. It may seem confused. It may seem confusing at first. But it's actually quite simple. It may seem confusing at first, but it's actually quite. It may seem confusing at first. It may seem confusing at first, but it's actually quite simple. By default, player movement is set to auto. Movement is set. By default, player movement. By default, player movement is By default, player movement is set to auto. By default, player movement is set to auto, so everyone moves around the pool automatically. By default, player movement is set to auto, so everyone moves around the pool automatically. By default, player movement is set to auto, so everyone moves around the everyone moves around the pool automatically. By default, player movement is set to auto, so everyone moves around the pool automatically. So everyone moves around the pool automatically. Use the overhead map to check the players' positions. Use the overhead map to check the players' positions. The triangular frame. The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. Is the opposing opposing. The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing. Opposing? Wait, opposing. 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 Not opposing. Opposing. Damn, bitch. Every time it gets me. Opposing. The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. 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 Is the opposing team's goal. Is the opposing team's goal. Is the opposing team's goal. 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 The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. The triangular frame inside the red circle. The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. The opposing team's goal. The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. It's the opposing team's goal. Is the opposing team's goal. The opposing team's goal. The opposing team's opposing opposing team's goal. Opposing The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. 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 The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. The triangular frame inside the red circle. The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. Is the opposing team's goal. Is the opposing team's goal. The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. The triangular frame inside the red circle is the opposing team's goal. The triangular. Here it is. 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 The goal is always on the left-hand side of the overhead map. The goal is always on the left-hand side. The goal is always on the left-hand side of the The goal. Here it is. The goal is always on the left hand. Goal is always on the left. The goal is always on the left-hand side of the overhead map. Let's resume. Let's resume. Let's resume. Let's resume. Let's resume. 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 Let's resume. Let's resume. Try to keep track of your position. Try to keep track of your position. Try to keep track of your position in relation to the goal. in relation to the goal, to the goal. Try to keep track of your position in relation to the goal. Next, 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 next. Try next. Next, let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Manually. Let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Manually. Let's try moving. Let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Next, let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Next, let's try. Next, let's try. Next, let's try moving the ball carrier moving the ball carrier manually. Let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Next, let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Next, let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Moving the ball carrier manually. Let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Next, let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Next, let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Next, let's try. Next, let's sorry. The my tongue every time. Every time I do one of these. Every time I do one of these reads, my tongue. Every time I do one of these reads, it gets super tired. It gets super tired. It gets super tired. It gets super tired. Manually. I do have to remember. I do have to remember to pronounce correctly. Let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Next, let's try moving the ball carrier manually. I do have to remember. I do have to remember to correctly pronounce. I do have to remember to correctly pronounce everything. Everything. So fast. We have to beat Regina George this game. Let's try moving the ball carrier. Let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Let's try moving the ball carrier manually. Press triangle. Press triangle. Press triangle. For the love of God, press triangle. For the love of Yeva. Manual. Burp, burp. The air intake. Also, I do have to remember to breathe. Wait a second. Wait, 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 wait a second. Second. Wait a 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 second. What? I just had to. I just had to clear my nose for a bit there. For a bit there. Just had to clear my nose for a bit there. So I could breathe. Breathe. So I could breathe. So I could breathe. So I could breathe. Could breathe. Could. 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 So I could breathe. So I could breathe. So I could breathe. Could breathe. Anyway. 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 Now you've enabled manual movement. Now you've enabled manual movement. Press your D-pad. Press your D-pad. Press up, down, left and right. Press up, down, left and right to move the player manually. To move the player manually. Now you've enabled manual movement. Manual movement. Press up, down, left and right to move the player manually. To move the player manually. Press your Now use your D-pad. Use your D-pad to move the player manually. Press up, down, left and right to move the player manually. Now you've enabled manual movement. Now you've enabled manual movement. Only the ball carrier can be moved manually. Only the ball player can move manually. All other players stay in auto. Only the ball player can be moved manually. Only the ball carrier can, only the ball only the ball carrier can be moved manually. All other players stay in auto. All other players stay in auto. Only the ball carrier can be moved manually. Only the ball carrier. Only the ball carrier can be moved manually. Only the ball carrier can be moved moved manually. Can be moved can be moved manually. Can be moved manually. Can be moved manually. Only the ball carrier. The ball carrier can be moved manually. Only the ball carrier can be moved manually. Only the ball carrier can be moved manually. Can be moved manually. All other players all other players stay in auto. All other players stay in auto. Only the ball carrier can be moved manually. All other players stay in auto. All other players stay in auto. All other all other players stay in auto. What's status thinking right now? Camera, man. Cameras sucks. going going insane. Only the ball carrier can be moved manually. All other players stay in auto. All other players stay in auto. Only the ball carrier can be moved manually. Can be moved manually. Can be moved manually. Can be moved manually. All other players stay in auto. No, now that now that now that it becomes harder. Now that it becomes harder to manage your teammates while manually control the carrier. This mode is recommended for veteran blitzers, veteran. Going insane with the movements of Titus. Note, note that, note that, note that, note that, note that, now that become, now that it, now that it becomes harder. Now that it becomes harder. Know that it becomes harder to manage your teammates. Know that it becomes harder to manage your teammates while manually controlling while manually controlling manually controlling the carrier. Manually controlling the carrier. Manually controlling the carrier. Know that it becomes harder to manage your know that it becomes harder to manage your teammates. Harder to manage your teammates while manually controlling the carrier. This mode is recommended for veteran blitzers. Veteran blitzers. Now that it becomes harder. That it becomes harder to manage your teammates while manually controlling the carrier. This mode is recommended for veteran blitzers only. Know that it becomes harder. Esther's work it, make it, do it, makes us. Harder, better, faster, stronger. Know that it becomes Note that it becomes harder to manage your teammates. Note that it becomes harder to manage your teammate while manually controlling the carrier. This mode is recommended for veteran blitzers. Note that it becomes harder to manage your teammates while manually controlling the carrier. This mode is recommended for veteran blitzers. Note that it becomes harder. Note that it becomes harder to manage your teammates while manually controlling the carrier. This mode is recommended for veteran blitzers. Press triangle again. Now you're back to auto movement. Now you're back to auto movement. Try switching. The whole tutorial might take longer than an hour and a half. Typical. Try switching between manual and auto to get. Try switching between manual and auto to get a feel for both modes. Try switching between manual and auto to get a feel for both modes. In manual A mode, direction of movement. The direction of movement corresponds to the overhead map. Manual A mode. In manual A mode, the direction of movement corresponds. The direction of movement corresponds to the overhead map. The direction of movements corresponds to the overhead map. The direction of movement corresponds to the overhead map. Corresponds. The manual A mode. The direction of movement corresponds to the overhead map. Left key moves the players towards. Left key moves the players towards the opposing team. Left key moves the player towards the opposing goal. And left and right key towards your own team's goal. Left key moves the players towards the opposite team's goal, and right key towards your own team's goal. Your own team's goal. Left key moves the players towards the opposite team's goal, and right key. Left key moves the player towards. Left key moves the player towards the opposing team's goals. And right key. Left key moves the players towards the opposing team's goals. And right key towards your own team's goal. Your own team's goal. And right key towards your own team's goal. Left. Left key moves the players towards your. Left key moves the player towards your. Left key moves the players towards the opposing team's goal, and right key towards your own team's goal. In addition, in addition to manual A, there is also a mode called in addition to manual A, there is a mode called called manual B. Stick with auto movement for now. Movement modes are only applicable are only applicable 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 when you're on offense on offense. When you're defense, your entire team moves on auto. Applicable, applicable, cable. Wait a second. Applicable. Applicable? Are only applicable. 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 So when not that. In my head I had applicable. And I thought of applicable, and then I go to Google Translator, and it tells me applicable. I'm going to watch that video about this. Cannot be left as it is. Wait a second. Yeah, there we go. Okay. There has to be a applicable. Yeah. Yeah. better. I think better. Applicable. 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 Is there a difference? Applicable. Applicable. Does it matter? Applicable. 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 Shut up. Applicable. Applicable. Everyone, just shut up. This is this is nothing. Uh okay, okay. That doesn't matter. Nothing matters at all. So what? So what? So what's our take in this? Our movement modes are only applicable. Only applicable. I'm going to stick to my own applicable. I am going to say applicable. Applicable. Movement modes are only applicable when you're on are only applicable. Applicable. Movement modes are only applicable. Applicable. Are only applicable. Movement modes. Movement modes. Movement modes. Movement modes are only applicable. Movement modes are only applicable. I am never going to decide now. I am never going to decide now. Movement modes are only applicable. Movement modes are only applicable when you're on offense. When you're on offense. When you're on offense. When you're on offense. When you're on defense. When you're on defense, your entire team moves on auto. Movement modes are only applicable when you're on offense. When you're on defense, when you're on defense, your entire team moves on auto. Movement modes are only applicable when you're on offense. When you're on offense. Movement modes are only applicable when you're on offense. When you're on defense, your entire team moves on auto. Summary 1 out of fucking 20, man. Summary 1. Use the overhead map to keep track of play. Use the overhead map to keep track of play. Use the overhead map to keep track of play. Change movement modes. Change movement modes with triangle. Change movement modes with triangle. Players move automatically when on defense. Players move automatically when on defense. When on defense. When on defense. Use the overhead map to keep track of play. Change movement modes with triangle. With triangle. With triangle. Triangle. Movement. Players move automatically when on defense. Yay. A reminder that I am going through all of this because I want to read them out loud. Out loud. Just to improve my pronunciation of English. Fuck. Fuck. I am already tired. I am playing on an emulator, so I can just save state this shit. I still have time. I'm just moving things around here in my screen. I don't know if I am messing the stream up or anything. Whoop. Imagine if I have. Timer, like a timer, like a speedrun timer. We're not even like 1/4 of this game, and we already have covered like 7 hours. This is the total opposite of a speedrun, Like not even a casual run. Like not even a casual run. I am basically using this game for educational purposes. Educational purposes. In order to make a player perform an action, you must choose an action command. In order to make a player perform an action, you must choose an action command. In order to make a player perform an action, you must choose an action command. You must choose an action command. You must choose an action command. You must. I want to watch an action. Man, I want to watch an action movie with Harrison Ford. I just had the urge to watch a 90s action, a 90s action movie with Harrison Ford, like Air Force One, or something like that, but or something like that, or something like that, or something like that, like that, like that, that, like that. Every word I had said up up to this point, like I I am now just realizing how bad I used to speak English, forcing me, forcing me. I am still not up to a super natural level, but I do am taking noticing, but I do am taking notice of the words that I used to pronounce weirdly wrong, weirdly weirdly wrong, and still, I mean, I truly used to say, and like and that, but it's natural. It's it is it is super understandable, given that I don't use this language at all in any other occasion of my life. Me speaking, yeah. Anyway, I, I shouldn't left my ideas halfway. I should finish my ideas. Ah. What I wanted to say is that it is understandable that I am not fluent in this language. Just because I understand it, it doesn't mean just because I understand it, when I listen to it, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it will come out fluently out of my mouth. I want to, damn. Ah, I hate feeling so sad about this, about talking at all, and especially in English. Hmm. How I should take a course of fucking basic talking, not specific, no, not specifically public speaking, but just speaking, like how to open my mouth and say words and formulate sense coherent sentences. How to open your mouth and how to open your mouth and formulate coherent sentences. How to open your mouth and how to open your mouth and formulate coherent sentences. Sentences that can be heard by an audience and understood. Shit. I want to say that phrase again. Shit. How to formulate how to open your mouth and formulate coherent sentences that can be understood by an audience. How to open my mouth and formulate coherent sentences that can be coherent sentences that can be heard and understood by an audience. how to open my mouth. How to open my mouth and formulate coherent sentences. Coherent sentences that can be heard and understood by an audience. How to open my mouth and formulate coherent sentences that can be heard and understood by an audience. I should take a course of just how open my mouth and formulate coherent sentences that can be heard and understood by an audience. I should just take a course. I should just take a course of I should just take a course. Take a course of I should take a course of just how to. I should take a course of just I should take a course. I should take a course of how opening my mouth and formulating coherent sentences that can be heard and understood by an audience. I should take a course. I should take a course of I should take a course of how to open my mouth and formulating I should take a course on how to open my mouth and formulate coherent sentences that can be heard and understood by an audience. I should take a course. I should take a course. I should take a course of how to open my mouth. I should take a course on how to open my mouth and formulate coherent sentences that can be heard and understood by an audience. I should take a course of how to open my mouth and formulate on how to open my mouth and to formulate coherent sentences that can be heard and understood by an audience. Blah. Press square now. The game pauses while the action. The game pauses while the action command. Game pauses. The game pauses while the action command window is open. The action command window is open. So you have ample time to think about your next move. The game pauses while the action command window is open. While the action command window is open. The game pauses. Game pauses while the action command window is open. So you have ample time to think about your next move. So you have ample time to think about your next move. So you have ample time to think about your next move. To think about your next move. The game pauses while the action command window is open, so you have ample time to think about your next move. The game pauses while the action command window is open, so you have ample time to think about your next move. The game pauses while the action command window is open, so you have ample time to think about your next move. I'm starting to. I'm thinking about the sponge. Bob Sponge SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants sponge. Yeah, the sponge of on my mic. Like, I have these for a while now. but I do not use my mic that often. That often. That often. That often. So maybe I should change it. I do have a. I'll think about that. I'll think about that later. I'll think about that later. Now, the game pauses while the action command window is open. The game pauses what pauses. Game pauses while the game pauses while the act pauses. Game pauses. Pa the game pauses. Oh, this is. The game pauses. The game pauses while the action command window is open, so you have ample time to think about your next move. The game pauses while the action command window is open, so you have ample time to think about your next move. Your next move. To think about 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 your next move. The game pauses while the action command window is open, so you have ample time to think about your next move. To think about your next move. Game pauses. Game pauses while the action command window is open, so you have ample time to think about your next move. The game pauses while the action command window is open. Game pauses while the action command window is open, so you have ample time to think about your next move. Game pauses while the action command window is open, so you have ample time to think about your next move. Game pauses the game pauses while the action command window is open, so you have ample time to think about your ample time to think about your next move. So you have ample time to think about your next move. The game pauses while the action command window is open, so you have ample time to think about your next move. That is explained elsewhere. That is explained elsewhere. That is explained. That is explained elsewhere. 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 Please select dribble. 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 Game pauses while the action command window is open, so you have ample time to think about your next move. Game pauses while the action command window is open. So you have ample time to think about your next move. So you have ample time to think about your next move. Please select dribble. That is explained elsewhere. 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 Please select dribble. That is explained elsewhere. Please select dribble. Dribble. It's false. I like what jiggle. Liplo. Double. Babu. There are three available commands. There are three available commands. Three available. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are three available commands: pass, shoot, and dribble. There are three available commands. There are three available commands: pass, shoot, and dribble. Dribble simply makes the movement. Dribble simply makes the players resume movement. Resume movement. Makes the player resume movement. Resume. I want to look that up. The player resume movement. It falls. And it falls. Resume. Resume movement. Movement. It makes the player resume. Resume. Resume movement. It makes the it makes the player simply makes the player resume movement. Resume movement. It makes the player resume movement. Resume movement. Dribble simply makes dribble sim dribble dribble. I like it when a dribble. Dribble simply makes the player resume movement. Resume movement. Makes the player resume movement. Resume movement. Resume movement. Resume movement. It makes the player resume movement. Dribble. I like it when a jiggle. Dribble make dribble. Dribble simply makes the player resume movement. Dribble simply makes the player resume movement. Dribble simply makes the player resume movement. Resume movement. Resume movement. Resume. Dribble simply makes the player resume movement. Dribble simply makes the player resume movement. Dribble simply makes the player resume movement. Resume movement. Dribble simply makes the player resume. Dribble simply makes the player resume movement. Pass and shoot. Pass. Pass and shoot are the most important commands. Pass and shoot are the most important commands. Summary 2. Square opens the action. Square opens the action command window. Square opens the action command window. 3. The three commands are pass, shoot, and dribble. The three commands are pass, shoot, and dribble. Three commands are pass, shoot, dribble. Dribble simply makes the player resume move. Dribble simply makes the player resume move. Yay! Let's go to the third. Wait. Just 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hey. I can count, I think. I can count, I think. This will be, I think, the last one for today. This is all reading. This is all reading. This is all reading. All reading. Forget. Standing by my side. Don't forget. everything that we have. Don't forget, don't forget about me. Recall. Did I mention that I love pop music? Anyway, now let's take a look at passing. Now let's take a look at passing. Now let's take a look at passing. Press square now. Select pass. That is explained elsewhere. Please select pass. That is explained elsewhere. Pass. Pass to Dado, Lady, Yasu, Bora. Borata. Select a receiver for your receiver. Select a receiver for your pass. For your pass. For your pass. Select a receiver for your pass. His stats are shown at the top right. Please select a receiver. Select select a receiver. Select a receiver for your pass. For your pass. Select a receiver for your pass. His stats are shown at the top right. Select a receiver for your pass. Select a receiver for your pass. His stats are shown at the top right. At the top right. But select a receiver for your pass. Select a receiver for your pass. Its stats are shown at the top right. Select a receiver for your pass. Its stats are shown at the top right. Select a receiver for your pass. Its stats are shown at the top right. Select a receiver for your pass. His stats are shown at the top right. His stats are shown at the top right. His stats are shown at the top right. Dado, Lady, Yasu, Bora. Strongest, Bora? In. Yasu. I mean, that is more balanced. I just throw the bass. I just throw the bass. Your pass is complete, and now Lady has the ball. Your pass is complete. Your pass is complete, and now Lady has the ball. Stats determine the outcome of each pass. Stats determine the outcome of each pass. Stats determine the outcome of each pass. Determine the outcome of pass. Stats determine the outcome of each 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 pass. I want to take a look at that phrase. Stats determine the outcome of each pass. Yeah, sure. Do I sound like that? Stats determine the outcome. Stats determine the outcome of each pass. I mean, I am basically shitting my pants, but I am basically, but I am trying. Fuck. Stats determine the outcome of each pass. Stats determine the outcome of each pass. Determine, 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 charming. Stats determine the outcome of each pass. Take a look at the number shown at next to PA. Take a look at the take a look at the number shown next to PA. Take a look at the number next to take a look at the number shown next to PA. Take a look at the number not take a look at the number shown next to PA. Take a look at the number. Take a look at the number shown next to PA. That number 10 represents Letty's passing accuracy. That number 10 represents Letty's passing accuracy. Represents Larry's Larry represents Larry, most awesome guy, and I love him. Everyone, let's have a round of applause for Larry, who's not Larry. Yay. That number 10 represents Larry's passing accuracy. That number 10 represents Larry's passing accuracy. That number 10 represents Letty's passing accuracy. Let's pass the ball back to Titus. Open the command window by pressing square. Let's pass the ball back to Titus. Let's pass the ball back to Titus. Let's pass the ball back to Titus. Open the command window by pressing square. Open the command window by pressing square. Let's pass the ball. Let's pass the ball. Let's pass the ball. Let's pass the ball back to Titus. Letty. Let's pass the ball. Let's pass the ball back to Titus. Pass the ball. Letty the ball. Letty. Where are you going? Where are you going with the ball? Letty. Where are you going? Come on, Letty. Let's pass the ball back to Titus. Let's pass the ball back to Titus. Letty the ball. Letty. Over here, boy. Here, boy. Letty. The ball. Let's pass the ball back to Titus. The ball. Letty. Keep an eye on the PA score. Keep an eye on the PA score. Now at 10. Now it's blah, blah, blah. This is the moment I've been waiting for. The at 10 moment. Wait a minute. Yeah. Keep an eye on the Pascore. Keep an eye on the Pascore. Now at 10, as the ball travels back to Tyrus. Keep an eye on the Pascore. Now at 10, as the ball travels back to Tyrus. Keep an eye on the PA score. Now at 10, as the ball travels back to Titus. Keep an eye on the PA score. Now at 10. Now at 10. 10 as the ball travels back to Titus. Keep an eye on the PA score now at 10 as the ball travels back to Titus. Keep an eye on the PA score now at 10 as the ball travels back to Titus. Lady throws the buzz. Lady throws the buzz. Did you notice the gradual did you notice gradual decrease in PA? The gradual. Did you notice the gradual decrease in PA? Decrease in PA. Did you notice the gradual decrease in PA? Did you notice the gradual decrease? The gradual decrease in PA? Did you notice the gradual decrease in PA? Did you notice the gradual decrease in PA? Did you notice the gradual? Did you notice Did you notice the gradual decrease in PA? Did you notice the gradual decrease in PA? The gradual decrease in PA? Did you notice the gradual decrease in PA? Did you notice the gradual decrease in PA? And you notice the gradual decrease in PA? You notice the gradual decrease in PA? Did you notice the gradual decrease in PA? You notice the gradual decrease in PA? Friction of the water. The friction of the water that causes the passes PA to gradually increase. The friction of the water. The friction of the water. The friction of the water causes the friction of the water causes friction of the water causes the passes PA to gradually to friction of the water causes the PA's the friction of the water causes the PA's the passes PA to gradually. I do notice. I'm noticing. The harder I try, the harder the letter sounds, like the vowels, the consonants. What am I saying? Continents or consonants? You see what I mean? Friction of the water causes the PA's. Friction of the water causes the PA's. The friction of the water causes the passes PA to gradually decrease. Friction of the friction doesn't matter. It helps pronounce super fucking hard every damn letter. The friction of the water causes the PA. Blah 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 blah. The friction of the water causes the passes PA to gradually decrease. friction of the water causes the pass's pH to gradually decrease. The friction of the water causes the pass's pH, the pass's pH. Friction of the water causes the pass's pH to gradually decrease. Gradually. The friction of the water causes the friction of the water causes the pass's pH to gradually decrease. The friction of the water causes the pass's pH to gradually decrease. The friction of the water causes the pass's pH to gradually decrease. The friction of the water causes the pass's pH to gradually decrease. The friction of the water causes the pass's pH to gradually decrease. Friction of the water causes the friction of the water causes the pass's pH to gradually decrease. The friction of the water causes the pass's pH to gradually decrease. The friction of the water causes the pass's pH to gradually decrease. The friction of the water causes the pass's pH to gradually decrease. Friction of the water causes the pass's pH to gradually decrease. Its pH reaches zero, the pass becomes uncatchable. If its pH reaches zero, the pass becomes uncatchable. If its pH reaches zero, the pass becomes uncatchable. If its pH reaches zero, the pass becomes uncatchable. Now let's watch Titus throw a bad pass. We'll set his pH to 3. Now let's watch Titus throw a bad pass. We'll set his pH to 3. His pH to 3. Now let's watch Titus throw a bad pass. We'll set his pH to 3. 2. We'll set his pH to 3. 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 3. Now let's watch Titus throw a bad pass. A bad pass. Let's watch Titus throw a bad pass. A bad pass. Now let's watch Titus throw a bad pass. A bad pass. Now let's watch Titus throw a bad pass. We'll see his pH to 3. Now let's watch Titus throw a bad pass. Now let's watch Titus Now let's watch Now let's watch Titus throw a bad pass. We'll set his pH to 3. Press square and pass the ball. Keep an eye on Titus' pH. Now at 3. Press square and pass the ball. Keep an eye on Titus' pH. Now at 3. Titus throws the bass. Oh. Ooh. When a pass fails, When a pass fails, the ball becomes loose. When a pass fails, the ball becomes loose. A loose ball can be claimed by any. A loose ball can be claimed by anyone. When a pass fails, the ball becomes loose. When a pass fails, the ball becomes loose. A loose ball can be claimed by anyone. Loose ball can be claimed by anyone. Therefore, a player with a therefore a player with hay with hay therefore a player with high PA can successfully throw longer passes. Likewise, a player with low PA often throws bad passes, giving the other team a chance to. Likewise, a player with low PA often throws bad passes. Often throw bad passes, giving the other team a chance at the ball. Number 3. PA represents passing accuracy. Number 3. PA represents passing accuracy. Passing accuracy. Well, each pass loses PA at each pass loses PA the farther it travels. Pass loses PA the farther it travels. Each pass loses PA the farther it travels. PA represents passing accuracy. Passes. Each pass loses PA at the PA represents passing accuracy. Each pass loses PA the farther it travels. Once PA reaches zero, once PA reaches zero, the pass becomes uncatchable. PA represents passing accuracy. Each pass loses PA the farther it travels. Each pass loses PA the farther it travels. PA reaches zero, the pass becomes uncatchable. PA represents passing accuracy. Each pass loses PA the farther it travels. As PA reaches zero, the pass becomes uncatchable. Oh, we leave this up to here because I can use save states because I can use save states blah 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 blah. So yeah, thank you Ghost Chat for being here tonight. Fantasy 10 and Final Fantasy 10. 10. 10. And Final Fantasy 10. I was trying to check the the levels. Anyway. Love